not frustrated, but maybe frustrated with yourself and sort of how
I was with Combat Americas. Okay. Right now I am with Labs Fighting League. That is a league that is
Gotta check in with the kids, haven't you? Right. Let's do some motherfucking work. UFC 245 Media Day. We're at the Red Rocks Hotel. This is going to be a fun one because there's loads of narratives going on. Obviously, Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman is the main event. Covington's always got a couple of interesting things to say. Jermaine Durandame is taking on Amanda Nunes. Her rehabilitation with the fans to become a fan favourite again after she failed to defend the featherweight belt and give that shit up. That continues here. She's on the charm offensive big time. Alexander Volkanovski is here convincing everyone that he can overcome one of the pound-for-pound stars of the sport in Max Holloway. But the other narratives going on. Mike Perry's in a real fight, man, and he loves that shit. He rises to the occasion every time. Jose Aldo looks like the motherfucking walking dead. Is he even going to make weight tomorrow? I'll tell you what, there's not much left of him as it is. Hopefully he's not too far off the weight, because if he's still got weight to cut, the guy's going to struggle. Let's go on and have a little nose. Let's have a little mosey about. See who's in the room. Get to the bottom of what's going down ahead of 245 on Saturday night here in Las Vegas. Let's roll. We're at UFC 245 Media Day with the lovely Danielle, Mike Perry's other half. Is that a fair assessment? Wife. Sorry, Danielle. It's official now, is it? Yeah.
Platinum ring.
Love it. Of course it's a platinum ring. Of course it is.
It is. His too. That thing is heavy too. He got a big ring, and it's like you hold it and you're like, oh my god, shit.
Tell me, Danielle, what does a guy like Mike Perry ask for Christmas?
He did this thing this year. Okay, I'm a phenomenal gift giver, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I am very thoughtful and sentimental, and for some reason I think he forgot that. So like every day he's been like, this would be, did you see this? I think this would be a good gift for Christmas for me. I'm like, I already bought you that, okay? So there was like a watch or something that he liked online, and something for his car. Not much. He's got pretty much everything, so.
That's it, what you get for a guy who's already got everything, I guess.
It's tough.
What does a typical Christmas day look like in a Perry household then?
Well.
You go traditional?
Actually Christmas is at our new house this year, which is exciting, and both of our families are finally going to be together for a holiday, so we're very happy about that. So my parents will be there, his mom and sisters and brother, and they're like our nieces and nephews. They're mine now, I get to claim them. And the best is just when you have little kids and we get them, all kinds of stuff, and they just start ripping things open, and they're like, oh my God, Mom, look at this, so that's the best. The kids make it the most fun.
I can imagine Uncle Mike is kind of like Uncle Buck. The kids must absolutely love him.
Yes, he throws them around constantly and is always teasing them and giving them a hard time, so he definitely roughs them up and makes them tough.
He lives for these moments, of course, these big events, these big pay-per-view events. But he's got himself a tough fight here on Saturday night. What's his mind frame like going into the fight?
It's always the same. It doesn't matter who's in front of him. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter. It's just him going in there and doing his thing. It's his fight.
When he preps now, is it about preparing for opponents specifically, or is it just about being the very best Mike Perry on the day?
No, it's really just about him. He's been becoming so much better of a full, complete mixed martial artist. He's loving the ground game and the grappling and the wrestling and all of that, and he's always had a passion for striking, so we know that he's got that too. But he's really coming into his skin and putting it all together, and we're really proud of how hard he's worked and gotten to this point.
When you watch him yourself, Mike always seems to be in potential fight of the night fights.
Yes.
His mindset seems to be set that way. He just wants to go to war. It's like he feels like he's doing his job when he goes to war. Mm-hmm. Do you kind of be in the corner and you a bit more like, can we just get an early knockout for a change? Can we get a nice early submission inside 30 seconds?
Oh, actually his first 9 fights were all first round finishes. So that made it a little, little nicer. We got to, get to the partying and the eating and stuff quicker. So that was always nice. We always say, get in, get out, no bullshit. But you know, it's nice when he can actually use all of those 15 minutes on his stage and like show all of his skills. So it's really nice when he can do that too. We never want an injury, but he's always prepared for every aspect. And if that happens, he said all week he's been saying the after party's in the hospital, and he knows he's going to bleed, so that's okay. He's ready, and he's about to drown this guy in his blood. So
I love it. Before I let you go, I seen you last night relaxing. You were off to the cinema. What did you go and see?
Oh, was that you that asked us? I could not hear what you said, and I was like, I don't know what that guy said. So we just kept walking. We were watching our YouTube video. Sorry. We went and saw Ford versus Ferrari. It was actually really good, and we always get good movies on Fight Week. We love to watch movies in the hotel, and we always get really good ones. We were like both coming out there a little teary-eyed, like, oh. So I won't spoil it for you. You got to see it. It was a good one, though.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
My pleasure. Thanks, you too. Thank you.
Good. Mike Parry, everybody's favourite badass. We just spoke to your wife, Danielle. She told us last night you went to the movie theatre. You enjoyed the movie so much you shed a bit of a tear. Is this a new Mike Perry?
No, man, I cried during movies. Did y'all ever see that movie where the dogs die? Like A Dog's Life or something? And it's like 3 different dogs and they be dying. That was sad. And then last night we watched Ford versus Ferrari. It was such a great story. And, you know, I'm a human. I cry about emotional things. And I'm married. So, like, now I'm more emotional than ever.
Danielle says she's got Christmas locked down. She's a great gift giver. She says she's got all your gifts sorted. Have you mind been focused on the fight? Have you got to go on a shopping spree after this fight?
I just bought her a house. She's going to wake up to some, like, Christmas breakfast. That's it. I might cook on breakfast or cook on Christmas morning. That's about it. No, I'm lying. I might have to do something. Let's go get the money this weekend, and then, you know, we might buy her something nice, or I'll just be like, I'll give her the slip of the money that I put down on the principal of the house. Be like, hey, $100,000 towards your house.
What does Christmas look like in the Perry household? Do you go the full 9 yards? Are you a classical Christmas guy?
Well, you have a blue tree right now. It's not fake. It's a real tree. It was covered in some pretty cool looking blue paint. Got some lights on it. We don't have it fully decorated. We'll get our dogs some gifts. I'll get a bunch of gifts for my nieces and nephews, and my family does they do this like $20 gift thing. And I'm like, okay, sure. But last time I brought them all an extra gift outside of the $20 gift range, and they were like, oh my God, you're not. I was like, don't worry, it's just paper plates and plastic forks, so you don't have to work so hard this year.
You talked then about cashing in on Saturday night, as always. Eyes are on the bonus. It's a tough fight though, man. It's a real fight.
They're all tough, real fights, ain't they? Every time I get in there, we're talking about a tough, real fight. And but I got to change some aspects and make people see things differently. I mean, as I say that, it's kind of hard to make people see things the way that I want them to see them, because people are all so different. You never know what they're going to say, how they felt they saw it. But yes, I'm looking to go in there and win on Saturday. I mean, I'm looking to go in there and win all the time, right? But I think I'm more calculated this time than I've ever been. I'm better than I've ever been. And the pressure to, like, put on a fight that the fans want to see isn't there. I think I can fight any way to get the win, and I think people will support it.
Thanks, Mike. Much appreciated. Thank you, sir. Best of luck. UFC 245 Media Day. We're hanging with, of course, listen, there's no UFC card is even worth doing unless there's a Kiwi on the cards these days. At the end of the day, the Kiwis are running the game. Kai's here. He's going to be kicking some ass on Saturday night. That's right, isn't it, Kai?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better, mate. I'm happy to be here, happy to be with Alex. He's fighting for the featherweight world title, and I'll be there making a statement as well. So it's definitely a great place to be, being here in Las Vegas, the mecca of the fight game. So I can't wait come Saturday night.
Huge box ticks for you fighting here in Sin City. This is where it's all about. But have you already got one eye on that Auckland card as well?
Definitely. You know, I wouldn't. I'm not going to lie if I haven't been thinking about it as well. I would love a quick turnaround. 10 weeks is enough for me. Get past Brandon. No injuries. I'd love to do it again in my hometown. So obviously don't want to look past Brandon, but everything works out. I'd love to do it back to back.
The move over to New Zealand, UFC obviously making its debut out there. You know, it's been brought on obviously by the success of Israel and people like yourself coming through. What's it like right now? I guess every MMA gym in New Zealand's probably every class is full to capacity, isn't it?
We just had a good problem. We had to relocate because our gym was too small. So we had to relocate to a new, bigger premises, which is always a good problem to have. It's definitely booming down there, not just in Australia and New Zealand, but the Asia scene, you know, it's definitely picking up. And you can see it in our success, why it isn't picking up. I think we're 10-0 this year from our gym alone at City Kickboxing. Just got our first world title in Israel Adesanya, winning the middleweight world title in Melbourne. And we're about to have our second when Alex beats Max come Saturday. So come 2020, we could have 4 with me and Dan definitely in contenders for the belt as well. So it's an exciting time for us.
When you guys kind of all started out on this journey together, and you were dreaming big, you were all dreaming about one day getting into the UFC, making these kind of noises, growing the gym, growing the sport in New Zealand. Did you expect it to happen so quickly? Because it seems like we've blinked, and in the space of a year, it's like the hottest gym in the whole world.
Exactly, just like my nickname, don't blink. But no, it's definitely something that's been a long time in the making. You know, I moved back to New Zealand back in 2016. Israel was still kickboxing back then. Dan was in the UFC, but he was on a bit of a slump. And I feel like something just changed overnight. I feel like we just kind of, I guess, really looked at ourselves and had to kind of reinvent ourselves, and it's just all progressed from there. But that all stemmed down from my head coach, Eugene Behrman, at City Kickboxing. I was coming off a loss, and you know what he said to me, he said, just come to training and the rest will take care of itself. So here we are, 3 years later, on an 8-fight win streak, haven't lost since, and just signed another 4-fight deal. So, you know, I'm definitely confident enough to say that I wouldn't be here now without Eugene, and he's been in so many big fights and so many big stages that nothing phases him now. So that's reassuring, having that kind of person in your corner coming into these big fight nights, one of the biggest cards of the year, knowing that you've got him in your corner. So I'm very confident coming in Saturday night. I've had a good camp, 10 weeks leading up to this, and I just can't wait to make a statement and to make my American debut over here.
Brandon Moreno's a great opponent as well. Be a really nice scalp for you to add onto your resume. But 2020, realistically, are we looking at 3-4 fights and potentially a push for an eliminator maybe at the end of the year?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm even a bit closer than that. Get past Brandon, I could be 1 fight away. There's not many guys on a win streak like I am. I feel like that definitely adds to my campaign. And come 2020, take out another ranked opponent, and then, you know, it's right there. I don't think Henry's going to stay at flyweight. I think he's going to stay at bantam. I was talking with him in Melbourne earlier this year, and you know, he's saying he's getting older and he can't keep making these big weight cuts. So if that's the case, then Benavidez is the number 1 guy, but he needs a dance partner. So get past Brandon, and it's all right in front of me. So I'm not going to be looking past Brandon at all. I know he's going to bring the fight to me come Saturday. We're both on the Ultimate Fighter season 24. We lived together for 7 weeks, but I've got nothing bad to say about him. But he's in my way. He's number 5. I'm number 6. So he's the next guy, and I'm going to bring the best version of Kai that the UFC and the world have seen yet. So I can't wait.
Just before we started chatting, then you were chatting with Joe Benavidez. Can you tell us what you said? Did you tell him he's in your crosshairs?
I pretty much just said, you know, it's been crazy seeing how much success and how much things have changed since being on that Ultimate Fighter in 2016. And he was excited. You know, he's excited for my fight. You know, I'd love to fight him one day, and it's all right in front of me. It's crazy, and it's pretty surreal. When I was when I was at the UFC at 243 watching Izzy win the middleweight world title, I was ringside sitting next to Henry Cejudo. So, and being there in front of 60,000 people, it was kind of surreal, but it put things in perspective, and it made me kind of realize, you know, I am where I'm supposed to be.
Finally, can I just ask you about Alex's fight, obviously with Max Holloway? A lot of people are saying that, expecting Alex to start fast, but expecting Max, as he usually does, to come on strong in the later rounds. You've trained with Alex. Is he going to have any issues pushing hard for the full 5 rounds?
Alex is probably in the best shape of his life right now. He is looking unstoppable everywhere. Stand up, on the ground, wrestling-wise, he's more than ready for this fight. If it goes to 5 rounds, 25 minutes, or he goes 1 round, he's going to bring the fight to Max, and I feel like it's a bad matchup just because of the pressure that Alex brings to the table. He's got one of the best top games in the world, best top game I've ever trained with, and I can't wait to watch this fight. I was there in Guam when he won the PXC title. I was there in Australia when he won the AFC title, and I'll be there in Vegas when he wins the featherweight UFC title. So I can't wait to watch.
You're his lucky penny.
I could be. I might just start charging a commission.
Cheers, thanks, Guy. Enjoy the next few days, man.
Cheers, bro.
Backstage at Media Day, Didi Pederneiras, obviously head coach Nova Yao. We spoke to Jose a little bit earlier, Didi, and he said that the move to bantamweight, he kind of wishes he'd done it a little bit earlier in his career. What's your take on it?
I talked to Aldo a long time ago to go down to bantamweight, but never want to be a diet for so long, and because he stayed in featherweight for all his life. But after his last loss, he see that if he stay in the featherweight, he can move up, and we have an idea to drop, to try to be a new champion in the down division, and then he accepts, and he do everything perfect to be to win the fight next Saturday right now.
There's been a lot of talk in the media saying that Jose looks ill, looks like the weight cut is really hurting him. But speaking to him today, I thought he looked pretty good.
No, he's pretty good. You'll see the fight, for sure.
Has he made weight? I know he fought at bantamweight a long time ago, but did you do a check weight back in Brazil during camp, maybe a few months ago, just to make sure he could get down?
Yeah, for sure. He stayed in the diet for 4 months. He's training all the time in the diet. He keep the weight low, and just to cut the last pounds here, he feels really good.
When you've got a fighter like Jose, whose legacy in this sport is assured, he's already a future Hall of Fame fighter, where does his motivation come from to keep training every day, to keep wanting to compete?
I think the mind that Aldo has, he always wants to get a new belt, a new challenge all the time like that.
Right now, Jose, of course, is at the latter stage of his career. I've spoken to you previously many times over the years, and you always say, soon I'm going to retire, soon I'll be finished. Has your love for the sport come back again, or are you now looking at the next generation?
I know I say so many times I want to retire, but it's difficult, man, because all have a new guy and they ask you to, hey, keep training me, keep stay with me, and it's so difficult to me.
This is a big fight for Jose, of course. There's a lot of national pride at stake, as well as almost an eliminator for a bantamweight title shot. Do you feel that in camp? Is there a big rivalry because it's all Brazil? Is that an extra thing, or is that just the media building that up?
No, just the media. Yeah. Not having any problem with Marlon or his camp. You always see each other and always have a friendly relationship, for sure.
It's the type of fight where they're going to throw down for 3 rounds and then shake hands and no doubt probably have dinner together afterwards.
Yeah, no problem after that fight, for sure not.
Brilliant. Thank you, Didi. Much appreciated. Thank you, sir. Good to go, buddy? We're here at 245 Media Day and we're hanging out with the main man himself. It's all about this guy. We don't care about the 3 title fights. We care about the fact the teenage dream is in the house and he's making his UFC debut. And never has a nickname been so apt, Chase, because, man, you are living the dream right now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, everybody else my age is like doing college and doing all that stuff or like working a job. But here I am in Las Vegas living this crazy lifestyle. And it's a good time.
Absolutely. When the call came to make your UFC debut, Chase, was, you know, you're undefeated in your MMA career, but yet to get into double figures. You know, it feels like a big gamble to jump in now. So why take the opportunity now, and why not wait a couple more years and get a few more wins?
The thing is, I've been on the developmental program with the UFC since Contender, so they've been kind of picking my fights and stuff and getting me more experience. My last fight, actually, they handpicked the opponent. They thought it would be like a tough fight for both of us, and they kind of wanted to see if I was ready. And then, actually, as soon as we got back to the hotel room, Sean Shelby called and was like, "Hey, you want to go to the UFC?" And it all kind of went from there.
Crazy now to think you're making your debut. I'm trying to keep calm for you. I don't want you to get too excited, but UFC 245, a huge pay-per-view, 3 world title fights top of the bill. We've got legends, we've got the greatest female fighter of all time, we've got Hall of Famers, and right there on the card is Chase, man. This must be like a phenomenal moment for you in your career.
Definitely. I'm glad that I get to fight on such a huge card and that I get to fight earlier in the night so I can hang out and just watch the show unfold.
Jose Aldo's on this card. When Jose Aldo was WEC featherweight champion of the world, you were 10. Were you even watching MMA at that age?
Yeah, actually, I started training at about 8 years old, and I started watching MMA around the same time. When I was actually 11, my coach was in the UFC, so it kind of, yeah, I was watching around that time. I was definitely a little young, though.
When you started at 8, did you start training mixed martial arts, or was it more of a focus of a different sport?
So I started focused on jiu-jitsu and then kind of added stuff from there, added the kickboxing, added the wrestling stuff in, and yeah, just kind of slowly progressed, and I just stuck with it.
At what age did the UFC dream become real for you? Because for so many fighters, it's when they become teenagers. Obviously, you were well on your journey by the time you were a teenager. Is it literally from junior high that you wanted to compete in the UFC?
Yeah, probably like I want to say 2016 is when I started to take things really seriously. I've always been a competitor. I did a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff growing up. But 2016, I went down to California for the IBJJF Pan Americans, which is one of the biggest jiu-jitsu competitions in the world. And I won first place in my division and got second place in the open weight. And that was kind of a moment for me where I was like, oh, maybe I can, you know, keep going with this, and I'm not too bad.
For European fight fans that may not have had the opportunity to see you fight yet, Chase, how would you describe your fighting style once you get in there?
I'd say it's very lanky and awkward.
No shit.
Yeah. On the ground, I'd say I'm pretty slick. And on the feet, yeah, for sure. Lanky and awkward is a good couple of words to describe my style.
Any friends that you grew up with, are they making a trip over to Vegas for you to see this debut?
I know a lot of my training partners and stuff, a lot of the people that train in my gym. Some of my family members are making it out. But I think most of the people my age, you know, dropping a couple grand on a trip to Vegas isn't quite, you know, on the radar yet. So,
when you were at school, when you were studying, your friends were making plans to go to college. Obviously, you had plans to be here in this moment. Did you expect it to happen so soon?
We always kind of said when I was coming up, like UFC by 20, and it just kind of like, it all kind of flowed together, and you know, I got the right fights at the right time. I won all the right fights, and yeah, it just kind of worked out perfectly.
To get to this point at this stage in your life, you know, at 20 years of age, you've clearly made huge sacrifices on a social level, you know, missed out on potentially date nights and prom nights and everything else, but you must be reaping the rewards now, right? You're a UFC star, you must have girls everywhere.
Yeah, 100%. I just got one girl right now. But like my senior prom, during that I was actually down in California doing a jiu-jitsu competition. So it's definitely a lot of sacrifice, but it's all been worth it.
Your big debut here Saturday night. Everything goes well. We look ahead to 2020. Unlike a lot of fighters in the room where you're speaking about and they're trying to plot their way to a title shot, plot their way to, getting into a ranking position, there's no rush with you, right? You can take it easy.
Yeah, I definitely have time. Like people like Macy Barber want to be the youngest champion. But I feel like personally, I don't want to rush it. I want to have a good long career in the UFC. I don't want to take fights I shouldn't take, lose, and then get cut. I want to just work my way up nice and slow and establish myself.
Thanks, Chase. Enjoy it, man. You've seemed to enjoyed this week so far. Make sure you enjoy it and enjoy Saturday night.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, man. Class.